So I've wet this canvas before I start, and I've mixed up some cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium red, and lots of white, and that's going to be the base colour of my background for this painting, which is going to be painting of Bluebell woods. That's just a bit too vibrant, I think, for what I was looking for, but I'm going to add a little bit more white. The canvas is wet, so we've got a lot of mixing time. This is the forest floor here, so I've mixed up a sap green. You could use blue and yellow, obviously, the green's a bit of a cheat, but sap green nonetheless, ultramarine blue, burnt umber. That's really all that's going on here. And it's just to take care of the darkest darks of that forest floor before I start building up towards the light. Actually, because I'm painting the bluebells, I was going to take that right up to there to meet that light that I've just put in, but I might actually mix up a beautiful purple colour and let the kind of bluebells disappear into the distance. I think that could be quite nice. So just to get that underway, I'm going to put a touch of white on top of that dark green that I've just mixed and blend those colours together. I've mixed up some cad red, ultramarine blue, white, and I actually put a touch of cerulean blue in there as well. But I'm trying to work out how much light I want. I think half and half's just a bit too much, so we'll go about a third. There's lots of nice ferns and things happening in this forest floor that will bring a nice element of detail to this painting. I'm not even going to pretend and say that I'm going to keep it quite loose. Actually, I am going to say that. I mean, it's just part of these videos now, isn't it, where I say that I'm going to keep it quite loose and then do the exact opposite, but it's always my intention, so we'll see it. Another layer of that dark green in the foreground. Now that I've got that purple in, I can pull that up and mix the two colours together. That just instantly takes care of all the shadows, so I don't need to worry about them now. I just need to build up towards the light. Playing about with some mark making with these shadows. Give me a good base for the forest floor and all the plants and leaves and ferns and whatever else is going on down there. Hopefully some of these little scribbles will take care of the details that I maybe won't have to put in. I've mixed up a nice lime green, so again just sap green but blue and yellow if you don't want to cheat like me. But sap green, cadmium yellow, white and burnt umber. Just bringing another colour to the foreground here. Hopefully build up the forest floor, leaving really minimal detail to be added at the end, hopefully. And I say that again knowing that I'm lying to you, because I'll probably spend forever on the detail on the forest floor at the end of this, but I actually only have about an hour today to make a painting, so I really was hoping that that would force me to be a little bit looser. Time will tell. Literally an hour will tell. Just mixed up that purple colour again that I used earlier on. Cad red, ultramarine blue, white, a touch of cerulean blue in there as well. We'll see if we can start bringing some definition to these bluebells in the background. I'm taking some pure white paint on a dry brush. Hopefully I've dried it off enough. And I am going to focus the light here. I'm going to add some trees now. I'm actually not working from one image, I'm working from several, because I was in the woods the other day and took photos of lots of trees that I liked, so I'm going to just do a little combination of all my favourite ones. Just switch to a smaller brush. A little bit of variety so it's not the kind of same mark over and over again. You can kind of see what I'm doing though, it's just a wet brush and just taking it for a bit of a walk. I'm going to come back to this area later on. It's quite tedious with a small brush and the mixing of colours and the mark making, so I'm going to give myself a little break from that and start working on some of the larger trees and the darker trees. We want to really start bringing out this drama, and we do that with some strong light and shade. So this is the darkest tree in the entire image, so we'll just take care of this guy first. I'm doing that with burnt umber and ultramarine blue, a nice equal balance of both colours. I've got this other tree here, kind of second darkest tree, not as dark as this one, so I've added a little bit of white and yellow ochre to that burnt umber and ultramarine blue mix, just to distinguish the changes in light as we move further into the forest. Again, there's some beautiful dappled light on this tree, but we'll really focus on that in a minute. I'm going to use the same colour again with just a touch of white, a touch of yellow ochre, and work on this little tree here, slightly thinner. So that colour I've just mixed up for these two trees, I'm going to start bringing that into this foreground tree, the main man tree, whatever you want to call him, centre of attention, the muse of this painting, I don't know. Should we bring some more trees to this mix? I think we maybe should, shouldn't we? Those guys are looking a little bit lonely, aren't they? What we should do, let's have someone here. Oh, I better watch what I'm doing. I'm actually starting to sound a bit like Bob Ross. Let's give these little trees a friend, right there. And then a happy little tree over here. Who else? Does anybody else want to get included into this party? Let's see. Does he want to stand alone or does he want a friend? Let's give him a little friend. Are we done? Do we need someone kind of front and centre, or do we like that space there? Let me think. They could be joined together to be a wee couple. Now that I've added him, it's like the painting's so needed him, didn't it? Something just came to life there. I think we're there. I think we've got the crowd that we need, haven't we? Yeah. So I just gave all those trees, the darker trees, another layer there, off camera, and I'm back now working on these distant trees. It's actually the same colour mix that I use for these trees, the burnt umber, ultramarine blue, but I've added cadmium red, cad yellow, and white to that mix, a lot of white. Really lighten it up to give the sense of distance in these trees. Again, it's all just scribbles. I've got this tiny little brush here, I don't know if you can see a little head on that. The impression of distant trees and leaves. It sometimes helps if you look at everything as an abstract painting. Just colour, shape, pattern. You focus so much time on these little bits and then you pull out and you don't even see them. Sometimes when you're focusing on the tiny little bits, you get so lost in them that you can't see the bigger picture. Some philosophy in there, I think. It's all perspective. So as I get closer to this light, I'll add more white to that mix there. In fact, I'll just do that now. I'll do that now and just show you. So I'll add a lot more white to that. And then as we get closer to the sun, you can kind of see the difference in that colour and that colour. It's just a shade lighter. So I'm going to add some light to these trees now in the foreground, and I've just mixed up some yellow ochre, cad red and lots of white. We'll just bring out little touches of light on these trees. You have to move to a smaller brush. I'm just really brightening up the light on the trees now with some titanium white, but a dry brush, so I'm scumbling it into that light orange that I've just added. So I'll put on a wee wash there, a wee burnt umber wash. See how we feel about that in a minute. Put one on this wee tree as well. There we go. I'll come back to those trees in a minute, and I say in a minute, it'll probably be like 45 minutes for now, even though this painting was only meant to take me an hour. But they've got some beautiful details on them, gorgeous texture. More detail in the dappled light, so but I don't want to put that in just yet because I haven't decided what I'm doing with washes in the background. I'm tempted to do an orange wash right over the back and really pull that light, but I haven't decided yet. and I don't want to do all the details in the trees only to kind of obliterate it with a wash, so I'll come back to that. But until then, we might as well build up some of this forest floor. So I've mixed up a dark green again, sap green, burnt umber, ultramarine blue, and I'm going to start picking out some of the details in the grass. Grass used to be my least favourite thing to work on, but I've had a lot of commissions recently where the foreground is just vast grass, so I've been kind of forced to confront it a lot, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm going to really focus on the shadows coming off the trees. I'm going to start picking out some of the highlights in the grass now. So we've got some sap green, yellow ochre, or cadmium yellow if you want, a little touch of burnt umber, and lots of white. It's the same kind of mark I was using before. I was going to say I've got a nice little angled brush, and it certainly used to be that, but it's been through the ringer. I've just added a touch of white to that light green mix again there, and I'm just going to pull out some more highlights. Really bring out that light. Right, we should probably get these bluebells in now, I think. I've mixed up ultramarine blue. I added a tiny touch of red to it, but not too much. I didn't want to make it purple. But just a little bit of red, mostly ultramarine blue and white. And I'm going to start picking out the bluebells that are in the shade. Wait till I see how I feel about this colour, because I'm already not sold on it. Until we see. No, we're alright. I quite like that. That'll do the job, I think. So I've added a little bit of white paint to that ultramarine blue mix that I used for the bluebells down here in the foreground, just because we're getting closer to the light. I'm going to describe that by lightening up the colour. So as we get further into the distance, you're not really seeing too much detail. So I'm kind of taking the excess paint off my brush and just making these little drag marks. Kind of gives the impression that in the background they're all kind of bunched together. Right, I might come back and fill that in later. I think you get the point of what I'm doing up there in the background. You can see the difference between the marks here and as we move up into the background. Just before I move on to that lilac colour, and just to prove that I'm never going to be that good at going loose with paintings, but you can see those beautiful little highlights around each of those bluebells there. I'm sort of tempted to kind of put that in to see how we feel about it. That's kind of beautiful though, isn't it? Nice little scumble, so you're just tickling the canvas and picking up those highlights and no more. Oh, that is why I paint. It's moments like that. Moments like that is why I paint, just those tiny little highlights. Would I recommend trying this painting out if it's just for this bit? Whoo! Let's see what that's done to the painting. Oh! Anyway, now that we've got that out of the road, let's pull in this lilac colour. So we've got, we've got Ultramarine Blue, Cadmium Red, and some white. Let me see if I'm happy with it though, because I'm not sure. Does it need to be a little bit darker than that? Let's have a look and see. How do I feel about that? I don't know about that actually. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. I've added a little bit of ultramarine blue to it there, I'm just not sure. Should we just stick with it? It looks like the right colour. I think it's because it's got those beautiful little highlights round about it again. Maybe we could pull that out and see how we go on in a second. God, what a roller coaster a painting is. I was so happy just a second ago and now I'm just not really feeling this bit. What an anticlimax that bit's been actually. Just not sure. Right, I think we might be cooking with gas now. It was just my colour I wasn't happy with. So I've added a little bit more red and white to it, so it really is a nice kind of baby lilac colour. We could have kept it dark to be fair and then did these beautiful little highlights round about it again, but I didn't want to go too full on with those. I think it could just be a bit too much. Again, as we get to the top, I'm kind of just dry brushing it, pulling it down a little bit, giving the impression that the colour's there, but it's really subtle. It's a lovely little haze there. I'm really going to bring out that light now by adding some white to the mix. Really loving these little bitty marks, just little dots and dashes. Looks like magic, loving that, absolutely loving that. Just before I finish up with the dappled light on those trees, I'm actually going to work on some strong light at the background, so I'm taking just pure white, lots of it as well, and just popping that into the background. This isn't going everywhere, of course, this is just focused on where I put that sunlight in initially. Do the bit I've been putting off for ages, which is the dappled light in these trees. It was the bit I was actually, it wasn't the bit I was looking most forward to, that's a lie. The bit I was looking most forward to was the bluebells, but I certainly was looking forward to this bit, but kind of lost a bit of confidence when it came to the crunch there. Let's see if we can find it. I'm trying to give the impression of the wood grain on this tree. I'm actually going to put it in with dark paint, but I thought if I can get some light to help me out, I'll take all the help I can get. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Oh, it's not often in my YouTube videos it sounds like things are working out, but there's always a first, eh? I actually shouldn't need to stay humble. I don't want to lose my mojo on this tree. I absolutely have lost my confidence on this one. Not sure about that one at all, not sure about it. I actually think there might be some yellow ochre at play in that, to be honest. Wait till we see. Not too much though. Let's see how we feel with that. Ah, no, I knew I'd get too cocky with that tree there. Went and messed this one up, don't like it. I might have to do the shadow work to bring this one to life. And on myself maybe. It's just so much light on that tree. So much light on it, I don't know how far to go. The furthest. And then bring the shadow back in maybe. Well, it's a lie if everything goes smoothly, isn't it? Because that's just not how paintings work, so something was bound to mess things up for me, so it just happens to be this tree. Just move on to another tree now while we're falling out with that one. So I've mixed up some burnt umber, cad red and yellow ochre. I'm going to start putting the shadows that are cast on this tree with the leaves. But they're going to be the darkest part of this tree trunk, so I'm going to pop them in last and hopefully they'll save the day. So I'm just kind of brushing around the light. It's actually beautiful colours though, really beautiful. I mean, for a tree trunk that's causing me trouble, I'm actually still really enjoying it. Okay, so the darkest dark on this tree. Let's see if this can just pull everything together for the finishing touch. So chuffed at this little one. Anyway, that might do us. I did say that I was finished there and I'm still adding to it, so I thought I would just continue the video because, I mean, you can stop, you don't need to really take it any further, but I'm just being a bit pernickety. But I'm just adding a little bit more shade to the woodland floor. I think the contrast will really help the paint, and it will just give it that extra little edge, so not too much. So there we go, we're finished now. A little 20 by 30 centimetre canvas of Bluebell woods. So I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did, especially this bit down here, absolutely lovely. Beautiful colours. Really enjoyed that painting. And managed to get it done just under the 2 hour mark, so that's not too bad.